All right, welcome back, guys. I want to be starting something new where in my videos, I want to start with the word. And I'm going to be talking about a verse in each video. And then the basis of the video will be tying back to the verse, right? I want to be able to give you guys value, but also I want to be building it on a good foundation. So today we're going to be talking about Galatians 6:9. And it says, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." So this verse is taken out of Galatians, where he wrote a letter to the city of Galatia, and he was basically telling them about why it's important to focus on the inputs of your life. What are you inputting? What kind of thoughts are you having? What kind of things are you listening to? What kind of things are you reaping? The seeds that you're planting. That will ultimately determine the outcome of your life, right? Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about why it's so hard to get into cybersecurity. And if you're watching this, you're either a supporter, you know me, and you're supporting this new movement that I am passionate about, wanting to give back to the community and make a brand for myself, or you are a random person who just stumbled on this YouTube channel, and if that's the case, I'm so happy you're here, or you are intentionally looking to get into cybersecurity and you've been doing it for weeks or months, maybe even years, and you are just frustrated and don't know what to do next. You don't know if you should keep pursuing cybersecurity or if you should just give up and do something else. Now, working in cybersecurity, I would say that I didn't start here. It took me quite a while to actually get here. It took me 4 years of working in IT to get to where I am. I started in help desk, and then I became a field technician, and then I did sysadmin stuff for an MSP, and then I was finally able to get into cybersecurity. But even though I would say I'm still pretty young, in my career, there were a lot of things that I wish somebody just told me directly without the fluff, without trying to sound super technical and trying to be confusing for no reason. It's really simple because cybersecurity is not entry level, but it's not entry level because of a hard requirement of you need previous experience or you need a college degree or certifications, right? They say it's not entry level because you need to know the foundations of what you're securing, right? If you don't understand what you are having to secure, then you won't be able to secure it well, right? And that's what it boils down to. That's why cybersecurity is not entry level. If you can understand these foundations, then honestly, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to get a cybersecurity job at 18, right? So I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the 5 things that I think are core issues when it comes to getting into cyber. So the first one, I was about to jump to the fourth one. The first one is there's been an overinflation on how easy it is. You see all these gurus and coaches online basically saying, hey, I'll help you get to 6 figures in 90 days, right? Or sometimes even shorter, which is kind of crazy. And usually the people who flock to that type of marketing are people who just want results quick. They want to, put in the work, and not even much, but put in work and get the results, in this case, a 6-figure job. And that's just not how life works, right? The Bible talks about, there are many stories about planting and reaping what you sow, right? If you think about, growing a garden, do you plant a seed and then the next day you have fruit? No, it takes a while, right? And there's seasons, right? Sometimes you might plant something and it might not even be time for it to flourish. And I think you should think about your career like that. There's nobody against you. The system is not against you. Speaking honestly, if you don't have a cybersecurity job right now and your goal is to have a cybersecurity job and you've been trying for that, the only reason why you don't have it is because of you. And you need to take that accountability. But there has been an overinflation on how easy it is to get in. And that's really unfortunate because it has caused a lot of people to flock toward cybersecurity with a false expectation. It's not something that you can just study overnight and then be making six figures tomorrow. Because if that was the case, why wouldn't everybody be doing it, right? And yeah, I think that, you have to really be mindful about where you're getting your information. Are you getting your information from somebody who merely wants to make money from selling a course or selling a boot camp? Well, they're going to tell you that they can deliver you results that sound good on paper, right? And you being the person who's not in the industry, you think that what they're saying is 100% true. And quite frankly, it's not. But that's where your determination, your perseverance needs to come through, right? Just like the verse that we talked about in the beginning. You have to not give up, not grow weary. If this is something that you really want, you're going to have to put in the work, right? Second thing is the barrier to entry has significantly risen in the past 5 years. Cybersecurity has definitely blown up. I would say when I first heard about cybersecurity when I was in high school, and this was like 2017 to 2021, we were learning about cybersecurity, but it's not at the growth or the demand that it is at now. And honestly, it's kind of dying down a little bit. I would say AI and cloud is the next big thing that's ramping up, but it has significantly risen. I've talked to mentors and people who are working in cybersecurity that got into cybersecurity like 25 years ago. And it's crazy hearing some of their stories of how they got in and what was required for them to get in. Like, if you had a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, it was like you were pretty set, right? There was really no fear of not being able to find a job. And now, you can have degrees, you can have certifications, you can have projects, and you can still have trouble getting a job, right? But that's just because of how many people are applying. The third thing is people don't know what to study. And this is really speaking from my perspective. I was kind of overwhelmed with all that was around and people teaching different things to get into cybersecurity. And this is just my opinion, but I think you really only need to know 5 things to get into entry-level cybersecurity. You need to know how networking works. You need to know how operating systems work. You need to know how Active Directory works. You need to know how emails work. And you need to be familiar with the MITRE ATT&CK framework. That is it, right? I think if you can understand those things, talk about those things in an interview, show that you understand those things through projects, and maybe get 1 or 2 certifications, I think you're set. I think that a big part of it is who you know. I think a big part of it is also how well you can sell yourself and speak to the skills that you know. Because we all have skills, we all have certain talents, we all have things that we're passionate about or things that we are moving towards, but some of us are better at articulating them compared to other people. Some of that is talent, but I think a big part of that is practice and being able to get comfortable with selling yourself, right? There's nothing bad with being able to sell yourself, because if you can produce good results, honestly, it's great for the company to be able to hire you, right? The fourth thing is the resumes aren't good. People are not catering them to the job that they're applying to. They're just kind of putting a bunch of buzzwords on there, trying to beat the ATS system, right? But when it comes to getting an interview, they can't speak to those things that they put on their resume. And I think that is an integrity thing. And if a hiring manager or a recruiter is asking you questions and you can't talk about those things, then they're automatically going to disqualify you, right? And then the fifth thing is people are applying for everything and anything. They are trying to just spray and pray, brute force their way into cybersecurity. And while in the beginning I was doing that, I was applying to like 200 jobs a day. You're getting like 150 rejections. The other 50, you're not even hearing back from them, right? And you're telling yourself, I'm working hard. I am doing the things I need to be doing to get into cybersecurity by applying to these jobs on these job boards. But in reality, like you are kind of like doing work that's not meaningful. Like you're just saying that you're working and reinforcing in your mind that you're working hard, but you're not really working smart. So at the end of the day, your work is less productive than somebody who only applies for 30 minutes a day, right? Picks a couple jobs that they really want, finds recruiters that works there, reaching out, trying to get a referral. Doing those things are going to take you further than just spraying and praying. So that was it for this video. I am going to be talking more about my journey and specifics in the videos that come. I just want to give encouragement to every single one of you that is trying to get into cybersecurity, that if it's really what you think you want to do it. And don't let anybody stop you. And get good at researching. Get good at using free resources out there. Get good at teaching yourself, because honestly, that's what's going to take you to that next level. And if you guys have any questions or any topics that you guys want to see, go ahead and link them down below. Because I am studying for cloud, trying to get into cloud engineering, cloud security engineering, I created a free study group, an accountability group. It's going to be linked down below. We're currently at about 10 members, but we're looking to grow that. And yeah, if you're interested in cloud security, I would love to see you in there. All right, guys, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.